Hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest on our channel. We have Ishika. Ishika, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Isheeka Mitra. I have graduated from NIT Jamshedpur this year itself, and I will be joining Samsung Research Institute, Bangalore by the end of August.
Yes. So Ishika is here to talk about her interview experience at Samsung. So over to you, Ishika. Tell us about your interview experience, the rounds, the problems, in details.
Sure. So for me, it was an on-campus experience, and the company eventually came to hire interns when I was in my third year. So first of all, I will be sharing you about my interview experience and everything for the internship period, and after that, I will moving forward to the full-time and how the PPO got converted and everything.
Yes.
So the company came in and we had one coding round eventually, and after that we had the interviews. So
Mm-hmm.
for the coding round, the company definitely focused on only coding questions and nothing else. There were two coding questions straight away, which was for of difficulty level between medium to hard, I would say. It has some twisted questions and like basically if you're like you have your DSA brushed up, you can
Hmm.
pretty much solve it. It
Right.
wasn't that straightforward too, but it was a test for around 2 hours, I think. So we had that questions, and after that the test got cleared and we had our interview. So there were only one round of interviews. For some people, I feel they did take two rounds or something if they felt that way, but for me it was only one round, which was for around 1 hour and 30 minutes. And in that interview, basically the major chunk of that was for coding questions only. So the first 1 hour and 15 minutes or so was for the coding questions, and after that the last 15 minutes were more focused on HR and like basic HR and the review, whatever the interviewer wanted to take from me. So for the coding part, first of all, it started with your resume brushing. So that is very important. You just cannot throw away anything in your resume. So the interviewer asked me about like what all I have done and what are the languages I am comfortable about and how we can proceed in the interview. So she also asked me if I know the machine learning part because Samsung majorly focuses on machine learning and everything. But since I haven't worked on machine learning, so that wasn't an issue. So my
Hmm.
projects were not discussed as such because my interview was most focused on machine learning and
Right.
that wasn't my forte. So we then definitely moved on to the coding part. So I don't really remember the exact questions, but what I remember is the questions were a follow up of one another. So
Hmm.
firstly, I was thrown up a very basic array question, and after that, she kept on adding the difficulty. She
Hmm.
wanted to know what the time
Constraints.
is and everything. Yeah, she was very like you just cannot even if you solve the question, that's not enough. You have to know
Hmm.
each step, how you are solving, and also you should be able to convey that to your interviewer because in your head you are doing a lot of things, but
Hmm.
if you're speaking it out loud, so we had very like discussions about why I'm doing this and why not this. She wanted to know everything about the question. So when I solved it, then she asked me to optimize it as well. I would not suggest to go for the very naive approach like more people suggest. I have seen this in YouTube that go for the n square approach first and then go for the
Hmm.
optimal approach. But I feel you have your time constraint. If for me it was in very basic array questions, like anyone could solve it with the n
Yeah.
square, so it did not make any sense. I would have
Hmm.
just wasted time. So I just gave her an overview that ma'am, I could solve this with n square approach, but I have a better idea. I myself mentioned it before she could throw that up to me. So that happened. Then I solved the question with some maps and complexities. We improved it. And after that question was over, it was a long 45 minutes discussions, I think.
Hi everyone, before we start the rest of the video, let me tell you about an amazing opportunity from Cryo. So, in case you don't know what Cryo is, then Cryo is a platform where you can upskill yourself, you can learn new skills, and get to the dream job that you want to. So, right now they have two programs. They have one program for software development, which is the fellowship program in software development, and they have a fellowship program in QA automation as well. So, let's take a look at their fellowship program in software development, which is one of the best courses out there if you want to crack your dream company as a software developer. So, in this program, they teach you basically everything that you need to know in order to get into the top companies. They teach you DSA, they teach you system design, and they teach you how to make great projects that you can put in your resume. So, they take an approach of learning by doing. So, instead of just putting theory in their course, they have made it in such a way that you'll be actually building applications under industry based experts. So you'll be learning everything that you need to know in order to get to the top product based companies. And you can also take a look at their placement statistics. You can see that 93% get placed within 8 months of graduation, and the average dream job CDC is 11 LPA, and the average super dream CDC is 22 LPA, which is pretty high. and they have 700 plus hiring companies that hire directly from Cryo. So the placement statistics speaks for itself. It's a great opportunity if you want to become a software developer. If you have a company that you want to crack, then you can definitely go for this program. And they even have a EMI option available, which you can get for as low as 7K per month. And right now, they even have a sale going on, Independence Day sale, that you can avail a great discount. So I'll put the link in the description. I'll put more information in the description. Make sure to check out the description box. Make sure to check out this program, the structure of the course, the placement statistics, and then you can book your free trial. And now let's go back to the video.
After that, she wanted to brush me up on my operating systems and DBMS a little bit.
Hmm.
Like not very scary, but the basic questions. Again, here also the communication is very important. Like what I'm thinking in my head, I cannot just put up a bookish definition
Hmm.
of. So everything examples, and like she basically brushed me very much upon my operating systems and everything. Also, she focused a little bit about on my C++ abilities, because I mentioned in the beginning of the interview that I'm comfortable with C++.
Hmm.
She at the very end, like for 5 to 10 minutes, she brushed me up, like why C++, why not other languages, and if C++, then how do you handle the pointers and
Hmm.
everything. Discussion seems scary, but if you are very much like good with your basics, I feel
Hmm.
this is like you should know this. You cannot, like I mentioned earlier, everything you write in your resume is gonna come up in your
Hmm.
discussion. So this is what happened for the first 1 hour and 15 minutes. And after that, in the last 15 minutes, I remember she throwing up a puzzle on me, which was basically on probability. Now, this is something I haven't expected. Like, I also brushed very geeks for geeks and
Hmm.
everything about interview experience and everything. Never they mentioned about anything about puzzles basically. But then the interviewer told me, you just tell me how you approach the problem.
Hmm.
She see that, and that probability question, I couldn't really solve it. I don't really know that what was the answer to that question, but she helped me. She pushed me to think in that direction. I eventually responded her, and that was a 5 to 10 minutes discussion she wanted to have. And the last 5 minutes was just for like, why do you want to join Samsung? So
Hmm.
thorough research of the company is also important, just because like people like us kept on sitting in different companies, and
Hmm.
like just are too much messed up at that point.
Right.
But before you appear for any interview, you need to know what the company is doing and everything. So for the last 5 minutes, we had a short discussion on that, and the interview was over. So this was for the interview part, and I had only one interview in this whole
Hmm.
process of intern to full time. After that, when I completed my intern, for the PPO process, they had a test. So now this test also had one question, one coding question, which was for 4 hours. Like the time given was 4 hours, and you had one coding question. Now because I had this test during my like COVID time, so they
Hmm.
did it in online mode, but like in general they do it in offline mode only. They have test centers allotted, proper invigilators are allotted, and as you can already guess that if you're given one question for 4 hours, the question was in
Yeah.
that. So also one more thing, during the internship period also they keep you brushing on DSA. Like they have
Hmm.
their own programs, they teach you also. So it's not like they just expect you to come
Hmm.
and test and get. So that's a good thing. Like they do tell you what to do and what not to do. So that question was on DP, I remember, the one which I gave for my PPO process. And after you clear the test, you need to pass all the test cases. That's the only
Hmm.
criteria. And one invigilator will be monitoring you, solely monitoring you.
Hmm.
So you have to solve that question. That's
Yeah.
just for that. Sometimes that gets very, because you cannot be lucky enough. Like sometimes you might be having a bad day or something like that.
Hmm.
And also they give you 4 attempts for that, not just one attempt.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they have 4 attempts, and in 4 attempts you have to clear that test for the PPO process to move forward. Now this is
Hmm.
not like to clear the testing and get the PPO. But for me and my college, I think 80% of the people who cleared the test did get the PPO.
Hmm.
After you clear the test, then obviously there is the managerial review and
Hmm.
everything. So that's also the part of the process. And after that, you're offered the PPO. Now, after you offer the PPO, you're also expected to clear one more pro test, which they say, which is difficult from the previous test. This also have only one coding question for four
Hmm.
hours. This also has 4 attempts with you. But this is a little bit more difficult. So before you join, like you have to clear this test. You can clear this test after joining, but then it gets more difficult.
Hmm.
So this is how the process is about, like from PPO to full time. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, like you said, it was a very tedious and a lengthy process focusing more on coding. So, what advice would you give to people, who want to crack these companies? What advice would you give so they can also become good in coding and crack these companies?
Sure. So I would say, like for me, what worked was consistency because,
Hmm.
like from the second year, I feel I started coding at the end of the second year. So you need to be consistent with your DSA because it's not just like there are many sheets and everything which is available on the internet
Yeah.
and people just go like, okay, we have solved 450 questions, we have solved 200.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not how it works, right? Because that 200 questions also needs different variations if you
Hmm.
want to. Like the
Yeah.
if you're very lucky, you will be asked the straight
Same
away that.
question. Hmm.
Yeah, but that's not always the case. Let's just say
Hmm.
our luck is not always in favor. So you need to keep doing questions, some lead code medium or GSG, if not on the daily basis also, but in 2 3 days also, at least you should keep brushing yourself. Okay, that is very important. And the other thing is, I feel people leave behind this operating system and
Hmm.
fundamentals. Yes,
Yeah.
fundamentals basic.
Fundamentals. Yes.
Yeah, because many like people suggest that okay, focus on coding. That is the
Hmm.
mistake I had also done, like before Samsung also I did give many interviews and everything, because what happens is this CS fundamentals is something which you don't even realize is very important to, like you should
Hmm.
know that if you are doing anything on your computer, how is it working, how is the
Yeah.
code compiling. That is very basic, you should know that. That's
Hmm.
very, like people just run away for this coding questions and they try to even mug up the coding questions sometimes,
Yeah.
but they just don't get it. You need to know what is actually happening
Hmm.
in the background, right? So that is very important. Like if you are doing coding in C++, you should know about pointers and everything,
Hmm.
like why it's working. You cannot just expect that interviewer won't ask me anything about that. So I feel these are the three tips I would be giving, that be consistent and also look forward to this different subjects. And the third part would be consistent with applying in different companies
Hmm.
as well. You
Yes.
cannot click in one
One
go. I did
company.
not click
Yeah.
in one go, and it takes a lot of patience. Like you need to face
Hmm.
that, and you need to also self observe, like what are you doing wrong. Like people usually in our colleges, every time they go like, okay, your luck wasn't good enough or this wasn't
Hmm.
your day. That could be true for certain part, but I feel you need to be observing yourself at the end of the day.
Hmm.
There might be something you have missed, might be you have fumbled more, you should work on your
Hmm.
communication. Might be the fact that you took too much time in solving the coding question. So you should introspect yourself, and I
Hmm.
think that's okay enough.
Yes, so I guess that covers pretty much everything about learning coding and cracking one stream company. So thanks a lot, Ishika, for coming on my channel and sharing your journey with me and my subscribers. I hope it will help a lot of students. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I just hope this video makes sense and I could convey everything which with whatever I could. So thank you.